The Baer Faxt is excited to take you around Minneapolis to see some of its amazing sights, from the Sculpture Park, highlighting some of America's most important contemporary artists, to inside the Walker Art Center, where we'll be taking a behind-the-scenes look with the new director, Mary Ceruti. In addition, we'll also be interviewing Angela Two Stars, the newly commissioned artist whose work will be on view this fall here in the Sculpture Park.
So the Sculpture Park opened in 1988 with Spoon Bridge and Cherry as its sort of centerpiece, but other pieces quite significant as well. The Martin Puryears at the entrance are, also, significant, and then was renovated in 2017. Many sculptures were added at that point, including Katharina Fritzsche's Han Cock. And pieces have been added throughout the years, but that was a pretty significant addition and renovation. It has, especially in this last year, provided a space of respite and connection for people. I would say the Walker learned a lot through the process of acquiring and eventually dismantling Sam Durant's Scaffold. A lot of it had to do with this sort of where the blind spots were and making assumptions about how audiences might receive a work. It was quite hurtful and damaging to our relationship with the Indigenous community, and quite harmful to the Indigenous community, frankly. We would never want that to happen again, but in the wake of that, we've made changes. There's always that question about, do you change the policy or do you change hearts? And I would say the answer is both. So just making time and space to ask those questions and make sure the right people are being asked and their input is being heard is perhaps the biggest lesson from that. Angela Two Stars was selected for a commission in the Sculpture Garden, I guess in the spring of 2019, but because of COVID and production issues related to COVID, we had to delay another year. We worked with a group of Indigenous advisors, artists, curators, knowledge keepers, who both helped the Walker develop an open call that went out to communities. It was really an international call, but we did a lot of, we did workshops in communities in North Dakota and outstate Minnesota, and encouraged proposals from, specifically from Indigenous artists. And then that group of advisors helped review those proposals and worked with Walker curators to identify Angela as the artist to get the commission. And Angela, I think, was really, she's just been an extraordinary person to work with, because she's an artist in the way that I believe, the best artists go about their work, which is that it's a journey and a learning process for them. I think the installation is extremely generous in the way that Angela has brought forward sort of her own relationship to the Dakota language and sharing that with both Native and non-Native people through the Sculpture Garden. I think we're all going to benefit from that.
My married name is Angela Pappenfuss, but I go by my maiden name as an artist, which is Angela Two Stars. And my Dakota name is Watakuye Iwichihambadewi, which means dreams for her relations. The proposal that I created for the Walker, it was inspired by my grandfather. His name was Orson Bernard, and he had spent 15 years of his life working in language revitalization, of his elder years. And when he passed away, I remember thinking of, we didn't just lose him as an individual, we lost all of his language knowledge. So it was like a double blow to our community. And so when I was thinking of a proposal for the Walker Indigenous Arts Commission, I was inspired by my grandpa. And I remember thinking of his legacy and what a legacy to leave behind. And so I created this proposal, and I got selected as a semi-finalist, and that was super exciting. I got to develop a full proposal. and then submitted my full proposal, and then I was informed that I was selected, and that was just amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I actually get to do this work now. And the next thought I had was, oh, this is going to be connected to that other piece. But what I realized in that moment was that my work had a responsibility for healing of a community that had been harmed by another piece of art that had previously been there. And I felt a lot of responsibility to do that. And I was glad that my work was going to potentially be something that would heal this community that had been harmed. And, you know, through sharing my language journey, through sharing my artwork, I would represent these speakers and so much of our language that's connected to our identity. And that was going to be like in this very, you know, visible place in the Walker Art Center in the Sculpture Garden. And to see the reaction from the elders that I've interacted with and shared the work and received, you know, feedback and input by, to see their response to this work has been the most rewarding experience for me, is because I show them my work. I say, this is, you know, I want your input. So to see those responses and know, like, that's why I'm doing this work, that's who it's for. I'm representing, you know, my people, and Native students and Native children will be able to see themselves represented in the Walker Sculpture Garden. And that's part of that healing. And I know some people who swore they'd never come back to the Walker again after what happened in 2017 have told me, like, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to come check that out, you know. And I feel really good about the piece coming up and how it's going to impact, you know, the community, and hopefully help heal not only just the community, but like the Walker too. I think there's some need for healing for them too, of overcoming kind of that controversy. And I think they've done the right steps to get there.